So from Hollywood, we move to your job and my job. Take a look at this picture I'm going to show you right now. Take a look at this picture right in front of you. This is April 5, 1968. You can see teachers holding placards right there and saying that they do not want calculators to be used by students in classrooms because they won't understand what are teaching them better. This was in 1968. Now, fast forward, this is 2023. Who even uses electronic calculators these days? I mean, you want your answers, you go to Google. You want your answers, you go to ChatGPT. You want your answers, the computer gives it to you. Nobody cares about using the electronic calculators. If that could happen to teachers back then and to calculators, what about your job? Sebastian Obeta is an AI expert, and he's also the founder of Applied Artificial Intelligence at the University of Bradford. And he helps us understand this whole conversation about AI taking the jobs of people.
It's interesting to see because the way it's changing, it's even going beyond the man that uses AI. You know, we are the ones that, I mean, AI experts, the key playmakers, they are the ones that uses AI. And one of the areas they use it for is to automate processes. So some of the repetitive tasks that you see out there will actually be replaced. So it means those individuals or workers who are within that space will be replaced. But again, AI needs also human supervision at some point because there are also ethical concerns about it. So there you would then need individuals who will step into that space in order to ensure that the AI system follows the stipulated guideline. Now, that those individuals that have been replaced, what becomes of them? You see that they will need to become also, they need to have a little bit of AI knowledge in order to fit in within the industry. But the question we then ask ourselves is, if everyone becomes an AI user, the man that uses AI becomes an AI user, who will then be replaced in the job space? But it's changing because just like you mentioned, the Hollywood stuff, the Hollywood issue, you could see that there are divergent opinions there. Some people in the process of it say that the people who hate AI or who are fearful about replacement of AI are people who are insecure about their talents. So how do we draw that? How do we draw that line? So it's interesting because even the man that uses AI will definitely be replaced. So we are now looking at the key players who are the industry or who are behind the AI industry, creating that system. And that's where you then see that digital divide that technology created keeps coming in our socioeconomic environment. And we need to seriously take note of that because it creeps in without us knowing it.
Help us understand a bit about which jobs, because we need specificity there. I saw teachers. I saw. No, this is funny yet something that a lot of people should take seriously. Teachers are going to be replaced. I even saw web developers, if I'm not wrong, are going to be replaced. Please help us list out these jobs and probably bring out two or three. How, in what way are they going to be replaced so that people will now start taking this thing seriously so they don't end up being, left behind, as it were?
So let me tell you what happened in the office recently. That was last week. So we wanted to do a task, and we went on one of these generative AI system and asked the AI system to generate the code for the task. The AI system generated the exact code that we have on our repository. Now, so all of us there were then laughing, looking at us and checkmating ourselves. Are we sure we are still going to retain our jobs here? All right. So, but the only thing the code didn't do, because once you mine the information, you need to save it, then create a report around it. I think every field will be affected. But again, that's why the AI regulation needs to be solidified across board, not just in EU, in order to protect intellectual property, human rights, rights to human intelligence, and the likes of them. Hollywood are actually crying out at the moment, and the reason is because, I mean, sometimes I wonder why they are even crying out, because they are the ones that gave us the inspiration. the sci-fi videos that we watch, the cartoons that we watch, and all those things that looks impossible. They are the ones that we draw inspirations from. But you can see that because it has taken another form and shape, the writings that they do, the script productions, and everything that they do at the moment are actually being written. I mean, you can use AI to generate those content, so you don't really need them. And that's why I said it's going to bring a digital divide because the owners of the company who are managing the company said that it's reducing cost for them. So what we now start seeing is the collapse and the merging of different job roles. So if you need to hire, let me just use if you need to hire a secretary, you need to hire a receptionist, you may end up hiring one person that will do the two jobs. So translate it to the bigger sector in the tech space. So if you need to hire two data scientists and one data analyst or one data engineer, you may end up hiring one person. And as time goes on, the AI impact will keep reducing the workload and most of the jobs that will even be created. So now when I hear people say um, technology will produce more jobs, the dynamics is no longer as the same because in those days technology created more jobs. But right now, the technology we are seeing in the industry 4.0, AI, generative AI, and the likes of them, are no longer creating jobs, but will be replacing jobs radically. Let me shock you now, because some universities right now but from next year, they will start using AI to teach. One of the top three universities in UK will start using AI to teach people. So both lecturers, both professors. So I mean, it's not scary, but it's interesting to see how all of this turns out because humans, I mean, I don't really know how to put it, but every job will be impacted.
It's funny the way you said it's not scary. Trust me. It's really funny the way you said it's not scary. But I mean, you know how to use AI. You guys are the so-called producers and the rest of them, you just know how to create those models, yeah. But some people are watching and they're saying, my God, what's the future like? I think this is the time where people would need to see that life is not as usual. It's not the same anymore. And when they're telling you go get a tech skill and you think, oh, those are for the Gen Zs and the super millennials, the younger generation, I think it's not for everybody. In fact, the retirees will even need to probably go pick tech skill as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the tech space are the most hit with this job loss. So, so it's interesting the way things are turning out right now. But what I'll say is everyone should need to understand the role, I mean, the impact of AI and how to use AI because with the way it's still going, you need to be a playmaker in AI for you to use AI because if you're just using AI, you can still be replaced.
And where does that leave Africa? I mean, how does Africa come into play in all these things?
Hmm. I've looked at it closely, and Africans are great. Well, so okay, let me establish this foundation. There are playmakers in the AI industry. People like OpenAI. You could see what Facebook are currently on. Mark Zuckerberg, Apple. You could see that they are the ones creating their own engine to manufacture. But for Africa, we don't have much of that. And if you want to restrict the use of AI, so if EU develops their own policy around how AI will be used, you could see that such technology can be transferred to Africa. Already within the labor world, all these big companies go to different parts of Africa as their home base because labor seems to be cheap there. Now, such infants will come into AI as well because if they're being restricted on what they can explore, Africans, what happens? Now, just think, for example, I mean, what is giving the breakthroughs because open AI is there that's trying to make some of this stuff that they've developed, like for example, the GPT algorithms accessible and available. Now, think about if they now clamp on it and it's no longer available, just like we have different versions of ChatGPT being a free version and another version not being free. You could just imagine what it will happen in terms of the ripple effect is going to create in Africa. Africa needs to step up to becoming a player rather than a user of AI because even we that uses AI in Africa will still be affected in one way or the other. What if they said they are not making their APIs available for you to use the GPT algorithm? What do you do? So we need to be careful about it because that digital divide is gradually creeping in, affecting socioeconomic factors. Then in Africa, we need to wake up and become more playmakers rather than AI users.
Wow, wow, wow. I mean, there's a lot that we need to do in this continent. We have the human resources, we have the intelligence, we have the people who can drive it. I think we have the resources as well. But I don't know, policies, I guess, needs to be put in place, and we have visionary leadership that can help steer the continent in the right direction. Sebastian, as scary as some of the things you say sound, this is the best place to put a cap on the conversation for today. Definitely, we're going to continue with it in subsequent episodes and edition of Take Up. Thank you for joining us, Sebastian Obeta, once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
On Tech Hub, we help you understand how tech can impact your life.
Your phone and your SIM card is going to be a bigger asset.
With the power that we have with social media, with the digital space right now, you can be anything you want to be.
Tech Hub, for a smart